World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, August 6, 2025, and the Philadelphia Eagles are still Super Bowl champions, and the Philadelphia Phillies are still in first place. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly, Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Chet Chesko. And Chet, the Phillies bounced back from a tough series against the White Sox, winning 4 of their last 6. Not so good today. Trade deadline moves are looking pretty good. Kyle Schwarber is hot. The Eagles open their preseason schedule tomorrow night, hosting the Bengals. Howie Roseman dealing again this week. As mentioned, I made a trip to the National Collectors Convention in Chicago last week. It was fun. Another star of our childhood passed away when Loni Anderson left us this week. We got plenty to talk about in Philly sports and in everything else. It's a busy time.
Yeah, and while we won't get overly excited, Bill, about a preseason football game, there are some roster spots and depth charts battles still to monitor. So I will be watching the game Thursday night. I don't know if you will. The Phillies, they're certainly something that we're watching of late. And Bill, you didn't have it on the agenda, but there's some Sixers and Joel Embiid stuff we have to get to. Yeah, and of course it's not positive news. It never is. And I just may sneak in a new random Chet segment later on in the show as well.
Well, at least I know I'll get a break maybe during that Embiid segment, clean my wallet or something during that time. But we have a first-time guest joining us tonight. From Philadelphia Baseball Review, Patrick Gordon will be joining us, and we'll be talking a lot of Phillies and local baseball with Patrick.
Well, you met Patrick by chance a few months ago, and it'll be fun to have him on here with us to talk Phillies and much more. Shall we get it going, Bill?
Let's do it. Let's welcome Patrick Gordon to Philly Pressbox Radio. Patrick, welcome, my friend.
Gentlemen, good to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, Patrick, let's get it going here. It is great to have you joining us, and we will talk a lot about the Philadelphia Baseball Review and related stuff in a little bit, but we need to start off with those first-place Phillies.
Yes.
I got to tell you, I never thought that last winter we'd be talking in August about some important contributions from Taijuan Walker, but hey, it is what it is. That's a good thing. Let's get right to the new closer, though. My question: what does last week's trade for Jhoan Duran do for the Phils as they move into the final 8 weeks of the season?
Oh, I think it does a lot. Even Bryce, Harper, and several of the players have commented on how important it is to have a reliable arm at the back end of that bullpen. And not just a reliable arm. I believe it was on Sunday, 5 of his pitches were over 102 miles an hour. I mean, that's something else. You don't, everybody has fire now that they throw, but Duran's a different type of animal with that. And I think the entrance that he brings with the Undertaker, the music, the lights and everything, it's a scene, man. You have to see it. And I think that's going to bring a lot of fans back into the fold that may have gotten a little bit, upset with, how the bullpen performed for the first half of the season. But I think having, again, a solid arm like that at the back end is vital for this team to go forward, because let's be honest, this window of opportunity, it's closing. It's not getting much bigger. So they needed this arm badly.
Yeah, and what a confidence boost, I think, when you've got that ninth inning guy. Now you have Kerkering and Strom. You can move down to seventh and eighth inning guys. If Romano is going to do anything for him, you got a sixth inning guy. Now things start to sort itself out a little bit if everybody can stay healthy.
A little bit. And you also have to keep in mind, you have Alvarado coming back within the next 2 weeks. David Robertson, although He hasn't been great thus far at AAA, is another veteran postseason arm that could contribute. So you have to think that the pieces are slowly coming together. But yeah, I mean, they're going to need to perform, and it's still still a little shaky until you get to that 8th, 9th inning.
Well, since you mentioned Alvarado, yeah, he is back with the team now, and he's eligible to pitch in the bigs once again on August 19th. And yeah, there's ancient David Robertson. I'm not expecting a whole lot from him, but how do you think they're going to use Alvarado? Where does he fit in with, Kirkarine and Jhoan, and of course, the new guy?
I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I don't think he's going to bump right into late inning, appearances. I think it's going to be more low to mid leverage, and then see what you have. You got to think though, if he can get back to form, and you have him throwing, his heat in the 8th inning, followed by Duran in the 9th, that's a pretty lethal combo that you have there. So although obviously Alvarado won't be useful for us in the postseason, I think getting there and clinching, he could be very, very important.
Well, and I think the other interesting thing as we move into the next couple weeks is you're going to need probably 4 roster spots. Alvarado, Robertson, Bohm, Nola are all going to come back, and somebody's going to have to leave at some point. Not sure who they're going to be. And then do you put Nola back out there in that 5 spot, move Taijuan Walker, who's given them 3 really solid starts here in a row? You move him to the bullpen, and if he's pitching well, they need him.
Yeah, and I believe Rob Thompson mentioned that he's not necessarily opposed, to go into a 6-man rotation if need be. Let's face it, Zach Wheeler hasn't looked great in the last 2 or 3 starts. Ranger Suarez, his velocity, his spin rate, they've both been down his last couple starts. It may not be the worst thing to go to a 6-man rotation, bringing Nola back and keeping Taijuan where he's at. The one thing that's really bothered me with Walker, and I get it, like there's been appearances where he's been rocky and this and that, but he's performed pretty well this year, minus 1 or 2 outings. So, I know he sort of becomes a whipping boy, so to speak, but I think keeping him where he's at now is not a bad idea. Now, you're 100% right, though, Bill. There's going to be some roster spots that need to be freed up, and that's where I think Max Kepler, I think he's probably going to be on the outside looking in. I don't know what they'll do with Otto Kemp once Alec comes back. So there's definitely going to be a bit of a jam there. And plus you have some bullpen spots that are going to need to be freed up as well.
Yep.
Patrick, there's also a jam out in the outfield, in left field and center field. I mean, they're sticking with Max Kepler for the time being. He had the great game last night, a homer and a double. We know that Marsh has been terrific, actually, since the beginning of May, hitting over 300 since that time. They're also trying to keep the other guys happy, giving them some playing time. And then you got Justin Crawford, who's hitting well over 300 down in Lehigh Valley. That's not him. Here he is, Justin Crawford. What do you expect them to do with Crawford and the left and center field spots after, say, August 15th?
So based on what I've heard and based on talking with Dave Dombrowski, I really think Crawford's – I don't think we're going to see him this year. I really don't. I think putting him into a pennant race and expecting everyday production out of him just isn't realistic. Dombrowski actually has been on record as saying if Crawford does come up, he's going to need to play every day. I just don't see that happening. I think you went out at the trade deadline. You got Harrison Bader, who's a Gold Glove center fielder, putting together his best offensive season ever. And you could argue about, well, how much value does his bat bring? I get that. But even so, I think his postseason experience, I think he's the guy there that you go to in center. And then I think you lean on Marsh and potentially Kemp in left. I think Brandon has come along with his hitting, and I think he could be the option there. I think, again, as I said before, I think Kepler's going to be the odd man out in all this. But I don't think Crawford's the answer yet. I think next year, absolutely. I don't think bringing him in a pennant chase makes a whole lot of sense right now based on what Dombrowski is saying and him getting an opportunity to play every day.
Well, Patrick, this drives me crazy, and it seems like I talk about it every week because it makes me crazier every week, is the whole analytics and the platooning and so forth. This right-handed lineup they played today didn't really do too much for me. I get JT probably needed 2 days off. He gets today, he gets tomorrow. Probably not a bad thing. But I think they're better with a not as good Stott and Marsh maybe against lefties than they are with these guys they're putting into the righties. And I think we're finding out that Sosa can't play every day.
Yeah, I think the entire lineup, look, as good as the lineup is, it's flawed. You have a lot of streaky hitters. You have a lot of hitters that, it feels like when one goes cold, they all go cold. Look, we rely so much on the long ball. There's been a couple games as of late where we've used small ball to kind of score some runs and produce. But for the most part, it's let's hope we get on base and somebody, Schwarber, hits a homer to the third deck. And, that works now. I don't necessarily know if that will work postseason. We saw that last year in New York. We need to make sure that, the whole lineup just doesn't get cold at the same moment.
Hey, you mentioned Kyle Schwarber. He's having a spectacular season, of course, 40 home runs, on pace for 55 plus, I guess, at this point. Are they going to re-sign him?
I hope so. As a media member, he's great to speak with.
Yeah.
Very even keeled. He does a ton in the community. Very blue collar. I feel like he represents everything that is good about Philadelphia. The other day, it was up in New York. I was covering the Phillies Yankees, and it was the coolest sight. So it was I think it was his 1,000th hit was also a home run. And as luck would have it at Yankee Stadium, 3 Phillies fans caught the ball. And we're standing outside the clubhouse getting ready to go in. And sure enough, those 3 fans are standing right next to us, press. Schwarber comes out, daps them up, gives them a big hug, smiles for them, gives them a couple autographs. There were 3 people. He gave 2 balls. Other guys said, what about me? Kyle said, let me go in and get you a ball. The fans said to Kyle, don't worry about it as long as you decide to sign and stay in Philly.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I mean, he's so loved. I really think Middleton and the Phillies organization have to overpay to keep him here, because I think it's going to be one of those, I can't believe we let him go if he decides to walk. And there's going to be teams, I know Cincinnati's one, there's going to be teams that are going to be throwing a ton of money at him. Yeah. And, him being from Cincinnati in that area, they're definitely going to be in the running.
Well, we're certainly going to hope that they finally get to this World Series and win the World Series with what they have. If they don't, you see them blowing this thing up a little bit. They've got JT, they've got Ranger, they've got Kyle Schwarber. Yeah. They're not going to be able to sign all 3 of them. And Zach Wheeler's coming to an end here in a couple of years if he stays as long as he says. Do you see them holding this thing and, rinse and replay again?
I honestly don't know how you could do that. Right. There's a couple things to keep in mind, right? One is you're definitely going to have to pay for Schwarber, Ranger Suarez. Do you want Real Muto back? I don't necessarily know. Yeah, he's producing now, but he's going to be another year old. I'm concerned about Marchand hasn't shown that he could step in and be a starter. So maybe you have to keep Real Muto. But you also have to keep in mind the possibility of a work stoppage coming up after 2026. So that means here, you're going to lose another year with Wheeler. Nola's starting to show cracks. Harper and Turner are going to have another year into their very, very long contracts. I think there's, I don't think you blow it up. I don't think you can do that with some of these contracts. And I don't think Middleton's the type of person to do that. I think it's just going to be that much more difficult because you're going to need to create almost an entirely different core. And that's going to be a challenge through this free agent market. I know Kyle Tucker's a name out there, but there's just so many unknowns. And I really think one big one that a lot of people are forgetting about is the potential for a work stoppage following the 2026 season.
Hey, Patrick, my partner is not the biggest fan of Rob Thompson. If they do fizzle out early in the postseason, could he get the axe? And where do you stand on Rob Thompson?
I like Rob. I think Rob is a player's manager. He's, again, very even-keeled. He is, I don't want to say he's the anti-Gabe Kapler, but he's different. Very well liked by a lot of people in the organization, if not everybody in the organization. I'm fine. I don't think any of this can be put on him. At some point, I think you need to look at the players. I've never been a huge fan of coaches or managers being the scapegoat for players underperforming. Take last year again in New York, or even the year before against Arizona. I don't necessarily think you could put any of that on Rob. I think that's players just not performing at that moment. Now, if there was a huge, 64 Phillies moment, we fall apart and whatever, or there's a mutiny in the clubhouse, that's a different story. But right now, no, I think Rob's the right guy for this. I would think if he wasn't, you would start hearing murmurs from Bryce. Bryce is not one to hold back. Bryce talks and speaks his mind, and I have not once ever heard him even question something, that Thompson does. So I think Thompson's going to be the ride or die. I really do going forward, unless something really, really goofy happens, in the foreseeable future.
Well, what makes me crazy about him, Patrick, is the analytics. And again, maybe he's not the one, that's driving that. Maybe he's being told to drive it that way. Now, he made a non-analytical move the other night when he let the right-handed batter bat against the right-handed pitcher. He got a home run out of it.
Right.
So he does actually have a little feel for the game. That's what makes me crazy, is it almost his analytical moves makes it look like he's not watching the game. He's just looking at an iPad telling him what to do next. And that's what makes me crazy.
I've been around, I'm 42, so I've been around baseball my entire life. And that is one of the things that drives me absolutely batty. It's become sort of almost like, all right, well, an Excel sheet, like if this equals this, then I do that. And to me, that isn't baseball. Baseball, as you mentioned, Bill, is a feel game. I think Rob has feel. I also do think, though, analytics play a role. But I think you have to have a gut feeling and know your guys. Who's the dude that you want up in a certain scenario? And you have to play it that way and go with your gut. You also have to be able to defend it, though, right? There has to be a proven track record, I think, to say, here's my decision. Analytic-wise, it may not have made sense, but here's why I decided to do it. And if you can do that, then I think it's the right move. But I'm with you. Analytics is sort of, going off the deep end. It's I mean, I love Bill James. I love how much, war and this, that, the other, but there's a place and time for that sort of stuff.
Going to be an interesting next couple of months for sure. All right, Patrick, shame on me for not knowing about the Philadelphia Baseball Review, but you founded that even further back than Bill and I have been doing this weekly show, 11 and a half years. Tell us about the origin of your Philadelphia Baseball Review website and what's it all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Philadelphia Baseball Review started 2013, somewhere around there. And it really came about from wanting an outlet that went beyond just the Phillies, right? So I worked at Philadelphia Daily News, did a lot of writing. I've done freelance work with various outlets. And, unfortunately, the world of journalism is very, you're hired today, you're laid off tomorrow. And so I had this passion where I still wanted to do something media-wise while also working at Temple University and teaching in the journalism program. So I was able to, at that point, get involved with career development, working with college students, while at night building and kind of strategizing and creating a media outlet. And so that's what I've done. And we've been credentialed by Major League Baseball and the Philadelphia Phillies now since 2014. I've covered the last, 10 winter meetings, postseasons. I go on the road with the team covering games. I'm at Citizens Bank Park multiple times a week. But in addition to all that, we also do a lot of college and amateur baseball coverage. And that's really near and dear to me because one of the things that I want to have the Philadelphia Baseball Review do is elevate the game at the youth level, get more kids playing, put a spotlight on all the good that's going on in the Philadelphia area at the youth level, with the idea that may ultimately get more people involved and generate more opportunities for children. So really working with some local organizations, working with the Phillies Select League and what they're doing, and really kind of not just providing Phillies coverage, but also providing coverage of the untold baseball stories across the Delaware Valley.
And you forgot that you're a coach too. Got to add that in your free time because you only have about 30 minutes of that.
There's, as my wife reminds me, there's not much of it. No, there's not. And, I love Little League. But one of the things in coaching Little League, it has also exposed me to a lot of, the dark side of youth baseball, if you will, in the travel circuit and the politicking and everything. And so that's another reason why I've really sort of gotten into, hey, I want to do something good beyond just covering the Phillies and really want to, do something that gets more kids playing, gets more parents and coaches involved, and sort of is an alternative to some of the money grabs that, let's be honest, travel baseball has become.
Yeah, I did want to ask you, college baseball in the Philadelphia area has always been a secret kind of, there's back when there was newspapers, you got about that much coverage, even in the newspaper, and now online, I don't know that you can find it unless you know exactly where you're looking.
Right.
Is college baseball in Philly still pretty big?
It's massive. There's we cover approximately 20 to 25 local schools and colleges, from the D1 level to D3. At any given time during the spring, there's probably a game going on in the Philadelphia area, and odds are it's going to be a really good contest. The Division I level, you have University of Penn, obviously St. Joe's, Villanova, LaSalle's bringing their baseball program back, which is great. David Miller, who was a star at Clemson, he's going to be back as their coach. And at the D3 level, you have some really good teams. D2, you have Westchester and Jefferson, two nationally ranked teams almost every year. D3, Swarthmore, Arcadia. These teams are really good. And what's really cool about it, especially at the D2 and D3 level, the work that these athletes have to put in to maintain not just good grade point averages to stay on the team, but also the work they put in the off season, the travel, the sort of work that goes into it. I want to be there to chronicle and highlight. And that's one of the things that we really try and do with the Philadelphia Baseball Review. So in the spring, usually right around Valentine's Day on, we're really heavy with our college coverage and making sure that every team in the area, even those that may not be as great, get some pub and some coverage.
I noticed on the website that the Philadelphia Baseball Review is undertaking various initiatives to grow the game of baseball in Philadelphia in 2025. That's great. And hey, don't you have some kind of banquet coming up real soon?
Well, unfortunately, we've had to move that. There's been some logistical issues and such, but I appreciate that. But what we will be doing is moving that essentially to a opening pitch banquet in, I believe, February is what we're aiming for. So again, another chance to get some like-minded people together that are interested in celebrating baseball, but also a chance to celebrate some of the college and youth athletes and coaches that have done such a good job, not just on the field, but behind the scenes as well. You got to think all the different youth organizations in the region, travel organizations, the Phillies with the RBI program. Those people deserve some kudos as well. So a chance to honor and highlight some of what they've done.
Bill, one last question from you, and then I'm going to play a little game with Patrick.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get this out right now before we get too late. Let everyone know where they can follow you on all your social media platforms, your website, and everything you got going on. Let everybody know what's up.
Yeah, so it's obviously PhiladelphiaBaseballReview.com on the web. On Twitter, it's P Gordon, Gordon, PBR, or X, whatever we're calling it today. On Instagram, it's Philadelphia Baseball Review. We also, if you go to our website, we have a newsletter you can subscribe to. I try and get that out once or twice a week during the season, probably once every other week in the off season. Again, that newsletter is going to have a ton of information about not just the Phillies, but it's also going to have information about youth camps, tryouts, college information. It's just, again, if you're involved, if you have a child playing youth baseball or even softball, it's a really good tool to have at your disposal. So you can sign up for that on the bottom of our website at PhiladelphiaBaseballReview.com.
All right, Patrick, we got about 2 minutes left. We're going to play a game that we often play with first-time guest of the show called Fast Five. I'm going to hit you with 5 questions. Give me answers, 10 to 20 seconds each. Yeah. Here we go. You said you're 42. Number 1, who is your all-time favorite Philly to watch or to root for?
Jim Thome. Jim Thome, excellent human being, made the transition from vet to Citizens Bank Park. I can't say enough. He's one of those, in media, you don't really get nervous interviewing people. You don't really look at people as idols, but he was one where the first time I spoke to him, I was like, man, I can't believe I'm talking to Jim Thome right now. Yeah. So Jim Thome, definitely for me.
Great guy. Number 2, will Jimmy Rollins ever make the Baseball Hall of Fame?
That's close. I think he's going to end up, he should. I think he's going to end up in that 74, 73, right just under the cut. And it's going to be a tough 10-year nail biter for him. I believe he belongs, but I don't know nationally if he gets the respect that he does here.
Gotcha. Number 3, Kyle Schwarber currently has 40 home runs, as we said. What are the chances he ties or breaks Ryan Howard's Phillies single-season record of 58?
Oh, I think very good. I think it's a tough schedule coming up. There's still 7 games against the Mets. I think the entire month of September, there's only 2 teams that are playing that are out of the postseason. So I think he's going to be locked in. I think odds are pretty good. He may even get to 60.
Whoa. All right. Number 4, Patrick. Bill and I have very different views on a lot of things in sports. One of those things is the extra inning ghost runner or zombie runner. Is that recent change a good thing or an abomination?
Personally, it's an abomination. I get why they've done it, but I hate it. It isn't baseball, and I'm a purist, and it doesn't belong in the game. But
there you go.
That said, I do get it. It does, preserve some arms. And let's be honest, we need as many good arms as we can get. So I get it. I don't like it.
It's okay. I still like you, Patrick. Number 5, you do cover the Phillies, but on your Facebook page, I spotted several pictures of you wearing what appears to be a Houston Astros hat. Explain yourself, Patrick.
Horsham Little League. Little League. He's sitting right next to me, but I don't. Horsham Little League. I cannot stress how many times somebody said, "Oh, you're an Astros guy." No, not at all. And it's funny, I have a board meeting later tonight, and I've made this complaint multiple times. Guys, we can't order these hats again. Everybody thinks we're Astros people. No, it's Horsham Little League. It's not an orange star. That's a red star if you look really close.
I thought it might be something different, but I wanted you to explain it. Hey, a bonus question.
That's a great comeback, Patrick. Great answer.
Yes.
One bonus question. What is the best baseball movie?
8 Men Out. Okay. 8 Men Out. I love the history of the game. Yeah. I think that movie does an excellent job of telling the story. That's one that if it's on, I just can't pull myself away from.
Good one.
Yeah, 8 Men Out.
There you go. Well, Patrick, we have used up all your time. We appreciate it. It was excellent. And let's do it again. And thanks for taking the time to join us.
Looking forward to it, guys. Thank you. Yeah, go Horsham. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, my man.
Take care.
All right, Chet. That was fun. We got to do that again. What took us 11 and a half years to get Patrick on board? What do you think?
Awesome.
Hey, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal Phil Stiefel, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. Yep, you can find Philly Pressbox Radio there in addition to on our own YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be.
And Bill, before we take a visit to the Irish Rover, Phil himself happens to be here, sort of, to tell us something that's very important and that a lot of Eagles fans may be interested in.
Phil Stiefel here from the STT Sports Network with a special announcement here. Guys, I'm doing a fundraiser to raise money for Eagles Autism Foundation. So what we are going to do, listen up, hit the like button, and please share this video out so we can raise as much money as possible. Here's what we got. We've got this Eagles football autographed by Cooper Dejean and Darius Slay. We've also got this great photo of A.J. Brown framed and autographed by A.J. Brown. And what we are going to be doing, selling raffle tickets for $5 a piece, okay? No limits on how many you could sell, you could purchase, okay? The goal for me is to raise $1,000 for Eagles Autism, okay? Eagles Autism Foundation, www.eaglesautismfoundation.org. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to Venmo me at Phil Stiefel, whatever you want, however many of these raffle tickets you want to purchase. I'm going to track them. What's going to happen on September 4th before the Eagles-Cowboys game at 7:30. I'm going to go live on this YouTube channel and raffle these 2 great prizes out. This football is right from my personal collection. The signed A.J. Brown comes from my man Jim Archidegano from Next Move Delaware Valley, Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment. Great friend of mine, great realtor, great person. So make sure you check him out if you need a realtor. Guys, this is something that I really want to do, and I really want this to raise as much money as possible. Again, recapping. Eagles Autism Foundation, $5 raffle tickets. Goal is to sell 250 of those. Venmo, Phil Stifle, $5 raffle tickets, guys. Go Birds!
How about that?
That's good, but 250 times 5 doesn't equal 1,000.
I thought the same thing, so I don't know. Hey, Phil never claimed to be good in math.
Phil was fired up, so I'm going to go with 200 for $5. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Oh,
all right, let's go to the Rover, Bill.
Great cause. Good job by Phil. That's a great cause, good to do, and a couple good prizes there.
Absolutely.
All right, hey, tell us what's going on over at the Irish Rover Station House. We're hitting the dog days of summer.
Yeah, the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, Pennsylvania is one of my favorite places to visit for a beer or two and some great food. The Rover always has trivia every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Dinner specials Thursday through Sunday. Killer Burger Thursdays as well. They got some burger wars going on right now. And don't forget about this. On Thursday evenings, they have specials on wings and Stella Artois. Yeah, after 7 p.m. Thursday, enjoy $9 wings and a big old glass of Stella for just $5. If you have not visited the Irish Rover Station House as yet, come on, man. Get over there. Check this place out. Look at it. You can hang out on the patio while it's still, beautiful outside. It is so much fun. The Irish Rover Station House is in Langhorne, and you can get all the info about them on the web at irishroverstationhouse.com.
Hi, this is Ray Dinger, and it is always fun to talk sports with these two guys, Bill and Chet, on Philly Pressbox Radio.
Ray Diddy.
Perfect timing, football season. Hey, Chet, I mentioned in the opening I made my annual trip to the National Collectors Convention in Chicago. Happened to be in Chicago again this year, last week, and it didn't disappoint. There was nearly 100 autographed guests. I'd say pretty much anybody that's anybody in the sports world was there signing autographs. And I'm going to say this, people may be questioning the economy, but it has not hit the memorabilia world.
Oh, well, I can attest to that, Bill,
totally
because
crazy.
I went to a celebrity convention in North Jersey last winter, and a bunch of Hallmark stars were there, and people were lined up. Don't judge me on that. I will be at yet another Monster Mania Con in Cherry Hill in just about 10 days from now. That place is always just crazy packed, and the autograph prices and photo op prices keep going higher and higher.
Crazy.
And people keep paying, and there's long lines, and some of them sell out. So yeah, I get it. Bill, who were some of the big celebrities in attendance out in Chicago?
Well, Steve Carlton was there from the Philly standpoint. Allen Iverson was there, Dr. J, Lawrence Taylor, Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith, down the line, pretty much anybody you could think of. Dominique Wilkins, Johnny Bench, and current guys, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., who's now a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
they were all there. I mean, it was pretty much anybody you wanted. But the other thing I didn't tell you, or I didn't lead in with, Chet, the hotel we were staying at was right across the street from the venue. There was a Comic-Con going on in the hotel. There are people walking around. If something happened, I don't know how the cops would have known who the good guys were, who the bad guys were, because they're all dressed up.
Oh, yeah. People love to cosplay.
It was pretty crazy, but it made for a good week. Got out there on Monday, went to the Phillies game Monday night in Chicago against the White Sox. Unfortunately, not a good game.
No.
Tuesday night set up, show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And got on a plane on Sunday night, and man, what a fun trip.
Well, Bill, I got to ask, did you make any purchases for yourself?
I did not.
Wow.
I did not.
That's unusual.
To be honest, no, right. I had my eye on a couple things, and I wasn't sure how I was getting them home. So, because I had a flight, so I didn't pull the trigger, but that doesn't mean it's over. It's just now I just had to get it sent this way.
Hey,
Babe Ruth balls.
Yeah.
One of my friends who's a major, I'll call him a distributor, seller, bought a ball signed by Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb.
Oh, wow.
Extremely, extremely rare to find one with both of those signatures.
Did we catch the price on that one?
Let me, not to give up on him, but let's just say it was upward of $30,000.
Okay.
Higher than 30,000.
Hey, our guy Phil from the STT Sports Network is watching tonight, and he says, finally, someone caught my math mistake. He went to Holy Cross in Springfield. So, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Phil.
anyway, fun trip. The Comic-Con thing was kind of interesting too. And I thought I'd throw that in there because they were just all over the hotel. You tried to walk through the lobby and the restaurant bar they had there, just people everywhere dressed up like crazy people. And baseball trading cards is now a huge thing too.
Yeah,
Guys
yeah.
carry these suitcase bags now, Chet, little like security boxes. They take them into the hotels and they all do it. They know they're going to be there. They might plop down on the floor, open their case, put all their cards out on the floor. Then people just come and they trade for hours on end.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is an incredibly, what do I want to say? So much money passing hands. It's really incredible. The money doesn't pass hands on the hotel floor.
No.
But it's the trading and all that that's going on. The business is not getting smaller. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Let's go tailgating, Bill.
Yeah. What could be better than a summer of first place Phillies baseball and the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia, Bob Cavanaugh and the gang at Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Well, Bill, Cavs Philly Tailgates, as you know, has been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years now, known best for their tailgate parties. Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates, Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest, and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it. Of course, Cav hosts tailgate parties before all Eagles games outside the link, and with the Birds training camp now open and the preseason about to get underway, you know, Cav is busy organizing some tailgates scheduled for outside the link starting on September 4th before that Eagles-Cowboys season opener. There will also be tailgate parties before the home games against the Rams on September 21st and the Broncos October 5th. And, well, frankly, all home games beyond that. Get details on all upcoming events at Cavs' website, phillytailgates.com. And if you have any questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go. And, Bill, with that season opener that I talked about scheduled for Thursday, September 4th, that means we are 29 days away from real Eagles football. And it brings to mind
Harold Jackson.
Oh my God. You are good with the numbers, man.
Did I get it?
You did. Now I got to find the picture because you said it. So yeah, Harold Jackson. What a great player. He played four seasons with the Eagles, 1969 through 72, made a couple of Pro Bowls as a Bird, and actually led the NFL in receptions and receiving yards in his final season with the Birds, who then traded him away to the Rams in the Roman Gabriel deal. He made a few more Pro Bowls with the Rams, and he is still around today at age 79. The great Harold.
Hey, you like them white helmets? Remember that?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Hey, one other thing regarding the Eagles and Cowboys on September 4th. Did you see that Shaquille O'Neal made a little wager? He's betting on the Cowboys. He's a stinking Cowboys fan.
Yeah. I lost a lot of respect for him this afternoon.
Gonna wear a dress or something if the Eagles beat the Cowboys.
He is going to wear the dress that Charles Barkley wore in some other bet or something, and to his restaurant in Las Vegas. So it's a double-edged sword there. He's going to win either way, right?
Yeah. Crazy.
Right. Yep.
Bill, before we move on, I got to talk a little bit of Sixers. I know you hate it. We managed to avoid it last week. No Sixers or Flyers talk last week, but I know you were upset that we didn't get to any Sixers talk last week. But now this story has hit a bunch of places on Monday or Tuesday, and it is the fact that our guy, Joel Embiid, is apparently having some serious knee issues still. Clutch Points reports that according to league sources, Embiid has struggled getting back on the court this offseason, and there is growing concern that he will not be ready for the start of training camp. Bill, I'm sure you find this to be shocking news, but your thoughts?
Well, you know, my first thought is, why did they sign him to a 10-year contract or whatever it was?
An extension
when they knew he was hurt.
And according to this report, Embiid himself was shocked that they agreed to give him the extension. I don't know if he approached them about it or he just maybe approached it not expecting to get it. He said apparently he was surprised that they agreed to this extension. It just tells you how messed up this organization is.
Well, the thing about it is that you can't cut bait with him. You know, you got to pay him for 10 years or whatever, 8 years, whatever many years left. You got to pay him. The franchise is set back for a decade or longer.
Look at everybody expressing their support for the Sixers and Embiid.
Yeah. And you know, I think the only thing that's going to get their attention is to just don't go to the games. Don't buy tickets.
Yeah.
You know,
and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. You know, it's a shame that they have just made such what appears to be such an awful blunder. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it 5 years ago, as you know.
Oh, I know. And now with the injuries and everything, and Paul George is probably not going to be ready for training camp either. So it's going to be more of the same. And on that front, Bill, regarding the Sixers, I mentioned 2 weeks ago, the last time we did talk about the Sixers, that the Vegas odds makers had set the over-under for the Sixers for the upcoming season at 43.5 wins. Well, I looked yesterday and it was down a tick to 42.5 wins. We're talking about an 82-game schedule, of course. And I generally have this policy of never betting real money on any of the Philly pro teams in terms of betting against them. That would be betting, something negative. But I will fess up. I did wager $20 on the Sixers going under 42.5 wins. I wagered $20 to get a payout of 38 and change, or a profit of $18 and change if I'm right. So nothing major. And if I'm wrong, it means that the Sixers will have surprised me and had a surprisingly good season of 43 or more wins. So I figure either way, I'm a winner.
I think that number's got to go down.
You would think, right?
I don't think they're going to win 42 games.
I don't either. So
let's get back to something I like to talk about.
All right.
Hey, but before we get to the 2025 Eagles, let's congratulate Pro Football Hall of Famer Eric Allen. Took quite a wait for Eric to finally be getting taking his much-deserved spot in Canton, Ohio.
This guy right here, Eric Allen, with his bust out in Canton last weekend. Yeah, congrats to Eric Allen. As we said last week, he's tied for the Eagles' all-time interceptions leader. He had, 54 or 56 total interceptions in his career. I don't know why it took that long, but congrats to him. It is great that he is finally in. And I heard Ray Didinger on WIP over the weekend. He was a guest saying that, talking with Mike Sealski and Rob Ellis on Saturday, he wondered whether, Eric Allen getting voted in this year just might convince the Hall voters to consider some other overlooked players like, Seth Joyner. You know how much I've appreciated and admired Seth Joyner and think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Nah, sorry. Not going to happen. Hey, Chet, the Eagles open their preseason tomorrow night against the Cincinnati Bengals. Word has come out Joe Burrow will play in that game for the Bengals. I don't know if Jamar Chase is playing. It sounds like Cincinnati's going to run their first offense out there for a little while. The Eagles, I don't think, are planning to use their first offense at all. But they will have some key players, as you mentioned early on the field on the defensive side, as they're looking for competition and earning spots. And with that, Howie Roseman added some competition to that defensive backfield room.
Yeah, we got word Monday that the Eagles had made a trade. They got rid of Thomas Booker, sending him to the Raiders. In exchange, the Eagles get cornerback Jacorian Bennett. And there was immediate speculation that Bennett would compete for the second cornerback spot on the Birds. So maybe. I mean, Bennett is 25 years old. He's 5'11", 200 pounds. He was selected by the Raiders with the fourth-round pick, number 104 overall, a few years ago, the 2023 draft. So, we'll see. A lot of people think he's got some talent and can definitely compete for, if not a starting job, at least, maybe a significant amount of playing time in the defensive backfield of the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, if you're adding depth, if he can make the squad and, add depth, that's, you can't have enough good players. And, how it works and how he's really something with it is he's not going to settle. If he sees something he thinks can be better, he's going to do it. And interesting with Cooper Dejean, I think he's been playing in that safety spot a good bit. Sidney Brown, you have on that list. Sidney Brown is fighting for that spot, which then might move Dejean up to the defensive, the corner spot. So we'll see how it all plays out. Kelly Ringo's been getting a lot of work as Dory Jackson. That's been a battle so far, it sounds like.
I put this depth chart thing up for the Eagles defense, and you'll notice the numbers after the names. Those are the years and the round they were drafted. Yeah. And almost all of these guys on the depth chart were drafted in 22, 23, 24, or 25. Now, Zach Bond was drafted in 2020. That's not shown because he came from New Orleans. But almost all of these guys are 25, 26 years or under. So they got a young defense and a lot of talent too. So, man, Vic Fangio is probably a happy guy these days.
Yeah, they have an extremely young defense, and I think that's where the competition comes in. Can they find somebody that's even a little bit better? But, man, they are young. And I think you got to look at it. When you're this young, you're going to make some mistakes, and that's okay. That's okay to make mistakes as long as you're learning and getting better. And I think this season is going to be really fun as long as they can stay healthy. I'm not going. It's too early to predict, but I'm certainly not going to say they're going to be 15-2. I don't think, but I think they're going to be fun to watch. And our man, at least my man, you don't care much about him, Jalen Hurts, is going to have a pretty big year.
Of course, I care about him.
Fourth.
We'll talk more about.
You care
Hurts.
about him fourth.
Yeah, every week we're going to talk about Jalen Hurts over the next probably
fourth.
6 months.
We'll talk fourth.
Yeah. Good grief. Hey, are you going to watch any of the preseason? I know you're not a big fan of preseason games.
No, and actually, I'm not. But I don't think I could get it.
Yeah, because it's probably just going to be on locally in Philadelphia on NBC 10, I believe. This
and unless it somehow shows up on NFL Network, which it may over the weekend, they'll roll it through. The only good thing is what the game the NFL Network is showing is the Colts. So Colts Ravens. So I may get to watch a little bit of that. Got a little side interest in that.
I know you do.
So, I might watch that, but I'll probably try to catch it, at least see the starters and see what's happening with the defense a little bit. Once we get into the second quarter, there's not much to watch.
Yeah, not sure if the new guy Bennett is going to play, but it sounds like Jihaad Campbell will play. Otherwise, we have no idea who's going to play for the Eagles because they're kind of tight-lipped about that, but I don't anticipate any of the big names starters being in there at all.
Yeah, and I was really surprised when they announced that Joe Burrow is going to play. I don't really get why you would want to do that. Joe Burrow is their franchise along with Jamar Chase. You certainly don't want him to get hurt. My goodness.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be fun to kick it off. You know that though. It's football. Yeah. It's football season from now till February.
I'm going to watch.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, great guest tonight at Patrick Gordon. Who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week?
Well, next week, Bill, we have a guy who is very familiar with Eric Allen and with us as well. He has been here quite often. and he used to write for the 33rd team. So ignore
Damo.
that. He's not there anymore. He
Oh.
doesn't do that anymore. He is now writing for Football Stories, the magazine, and he will happily talk about the Eagles and football in general, of course. I am talking about Paul Domowitch, and it's always great to have Damo on the show. Bill, we may also have a second guest. In fact, I think we will, and I may tell you about that a little later.
Well, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I might actually could prepare. Hey, Chet, before we get to our lost star of Loni Anderson,
you want me to do my little surprise thing?
Well, no, let me hit this one point, then you can come with that point.
Okay.
Today marks the 8th, I don't know if it's an anniversary, 8 years of the passing of Darren Dutch Dalton, and being celebrated. I guess it's a celebration of life. We'll call it that. For all the people that we know, Mike Conroy, others, my mind's gone blank, that we've had as guests who support the Dalton Foundation. Tommy Green, that's what I was trying to think. Tommy Green, big supporters of the Darren Dalton Foundation. It's a great thing they do, and the Darren Dalton legacy lives on in Philadelphia.
Indeed. Yeah, I guess so. As you said, it's been 8 years. Time sure flies, but a lot of people on Facebook were posting pictures about that fact, and rest easy, Darren Dalton. And the Dalton Foundation continues to do great work with, golf outings and celebrity bartender events. And I try to get to at least one every year. They do great work.
Yes, they do. Well, as I started to say, we lost.
No, not yet. No, we're not getting to Loni just yet.
Oh,
Bill. We haven't done a random Chet in quite a while.
You got to tell me these things. I'm on the fly.
It's a surprise, Bill. It's a surprise. In fact, what I have for you tonight is kind of a random Chet spin-off segment. So once again, as Tom McGinnis would say, get excited.
Hey, watch it now.
So here's the deal. Since so many of my occasional random Chet segments seem to focus on movies or television stuff, I've decided to rename those segments, as you saw in the intro, Watch It Now. Goofy, I know. Well, speaking of goofy, silly stuff, I was a huge fan of those Zucker Abrahams 1980s laugh-a-minute movies, Airplane and The Naked Gun, and their sequels that followed. Well, that being the case, I was really looking forward to the new version of The Naked Gun. And I'm happy to say it largely delivers. It stars Liam Neeson and Paul Walter Hauser as Frank Drebin Jr. and Ed Hawken Jr. Their late fathers, played so brilliantly by Leslie Nielsen and George Kennedy in the original franchise. Oh, Pamela Anderson has a major role in the reboot also. Don't worry about the plot. Just know that like the 80s and 90s films, you'll get rapid-fire jokes, and at least half of them do hit the mark, really. You'll even get some laughs in the end credits. For example, on-set dressing, vinaigrette, and even a reference to our oft-injured 76ers center. Yeah, look at that. I love that. So bottom line for The Naked Gun, a fast-paced screwball comedy that's less than 90 minutes in length, with plenty of amusing visual gags, some funny wordplay, and an all-around good time. The Chet grade for The Naked Gun, B+. In other words, hey, watch it.
So was that at a theater or is that on?
Oh, that's in the theater. That is in theater. It was a big hit over the weekend. It's pulling in a lot of people. And I have a buddy who has seen it 4 times already. I am not kidding you. And look, I even got this cool poster. It says, I want you to pull my finger.
There you go.
Liam Neeson. Yeah, very funny. Very
good deal. Good deal. So that brings us to Loni Anderson.
Loni.
From the hit TV show when we were young, Chet, WKRP in Cincinnati. Loni Anderson passed away. Another one of our youth, not sports related, but everybody knew who Loni was.
Yeah, I someday I'm going to make a list of my top 25 favorite sitcoms, and WKRP in Cincinnati will definitely be on there because as a guy who was interested in radio, going to Penn State at the time when that premiered and then working in radio while that show was on the air, I enjoyed the whole radio thing on TV, and Loni Anderson, of course, a big part of that show. There she is through the years. And yeah, a shame she died after what they say was a prolonged illness. They didn't say exactly what, just a couple of days, I think 2 or 3 days shy of her 80th birthday. So yeah, Loni Anderson, rest easy. And as I posted on Facebook the other day, I owned both of these posters back in the day, the late 70s, early 80s. Hey, a lot of kids my age did. Don't judge me. But I mentioned also that I was pretty sure I had at least one of those in my garage somewhere. And I'm not going to show the whole thing, but yeah, there it is.
There it
Loni
is.
Anderson poster.
There you go.
It is with me still.
There
all
you
these
go.
years later, Bill.
Good deal. All right.
I got a couple other things, Bill. You ready?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. First of all, I want to wish a very happy birthday. I'm not sure what number it is, but a very happy birthday today to Judy Arnold.
That was on my list too.
Yeah, 3-time visitor to our show. Always a massive hit when she has joined us. We got to get her on again at some point in the future. Judy Arnold, the roller derby queen. That's her book. If you haven't read it and you're a fan of roller derby, of course, get that book, Judy Arnold, roller derby queen. She is amazing. And somebody else celebrating a birthday in the days ahead, Bill, is this guy, Wheels. Chris Wheeler, this weekend, according to Tom McCarthy, is turning 80 years young. I believe that is on Saturday. Wheels. We love Wheels. And you know what, Bill? He will be on our show next week, along with Paul Domowitch. So he is our second guest, Chris Wheeler, soon to be 80 years old, joining us once again.
Nice. I was trying to do a quick little Google while you were talking about to find Judy Arnold's age, and you believe that she does not have a Wikipedia that pops up. How
Get
can
out.
that be?
Get out. Yeah, I've never seen her exact age listed. So, I mean, she's somewhere around that age, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wheels, Mr. Spring Training. He'll be great to talk to, and he's still around, and he's always a lot of fun.
Always. And he still watches all the games. They, text with him during the broadcast, T-Mac and Crookie and those guys. So always good to get Wheels insight into the Philadelphia Phillies. Bill, we've covered it all tonight.
Well, you just mentioned something that I was going to throw out there when we had an extra minute. We only have about 30 seconds. But Boop, our pal Bob Vitrone Jr., made a tweet the other night wondering if T-Mac and Crook were going to talk about the baseball game at all.
I know that bugs you when they talk about food and other stuff.
They talk about everything but baseball.
It's a TV broadcast. You have the visual. You don't have to have constant baseball talk. Have a little fun. Have a little levity. Bill, get some fun in your life, will you?
Hey, I have fun. I listen to Harry and Whitey and Bill Campbell and Bryce, for God's sakes.
Wheels is no Loni Anderson. You're right about that, Joe.
That's for sure. All right. You got anything else before we wrap it up?
Moser wishing us a great weekend already. It's only Wednesday, for God's sake, but we will have a great weekend.
Yeah, Bob's waiting for next Wednesday. He's ready to roll. Robbie, thank you for the great show comment. Appreciate that.
Let's wrap it up.
All right.
I'm drinking flavored water tonight, by the way.
Yeah, I'm drinking iced tea like I always am. Let's thank tonight's special guest, Patrick Gordon, our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, and the PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Pressbox Radio next Wednesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. You see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel, on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel, and listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Let's go Phillies and go Birds.
Happy trails to you till we meet